If you want stronger, healthier relationships, then today's episode is for you. We have to understand what we want out of relationships, and we have to know how to communicate that. When we really dig into expectations and assumptions, it leaves us with no other choice other than to ask ourselves a couple of questions. How are we ever supposed to know what a healthy relationship looks or feels like without having expectations or assumptions? We are all walking around with invisible scripts, vague hopes, and silent standards. What is going on? Great to be back with you for another video. I love the fact that you're here. I know you could be doing a million different things right now, so I just want to let you know I truly appreciate you dropping in and being here. I think you're really going to like and find value in today's video because I want to talk to you about why your expectations and assumptions might be ruining your relationships. And if you're anything like me, you've probably noticed either by doing it yourself, having it done to you, or both, that the fastest way to disappointment in a relationship is to project onto it what it should look and feel like instead of seeing it for what it actually is. Let me explain, because this is something a ton of us can fall into. You may have heard phrases like, expectations are predetermined disappointments, or when you make assumptions, you make an out of you and me. Let's say for a minute that both of these quotes are true. In the context of relationships, how are we ever supposed to know what a healthy relationship looks or feels like without having expectations or assumptions? That's a fair question, because if both expectations and assumptions can ruin relationships, then where does that leave us? What are we supposed to do? And here's what I think. We have to understand what we want out of relationships, and we have to know how to communicate that. If we don't know what we want or how to communicate it, I might venture to say that it's almost impossible to have any long-lasting, healthy, successful relationships. And this applies to romantic relationships, friendships, family, and even extends into relationships at work. The thing is, we are all walking around with invisible scripts, vague hopes, and silent standards. But nobody's teaching us how to hold, navigate, and communicate them. Until now. In this video, I'm going to share with you 2 things that you need to know to have stronger, healthier relationships. Number 1, you have to know and understand the expectations and assumptions that you have. Let's get on the same page about what we're talking about. Expectations are like pre-written scripts. They're not bad, but when they're unspoken, they can quietly turn into demands. Assumptions are conclusions without data. They're a blend of projection, fear, and wishful thinking. When we really dig into expectations and assumptions, it leaves us with no other choice other than to ask ourselves a couple of questions. Number 1, do we know what our expectations and assumptions are for the relationships that we're in? You should be able to list them out. If you don't know what you are looking for in a relationship, you will never be able to find one you're happy with. This will also help us to put a name to what we're feeling when we feel distant or have unmet needs in a relationship. Number 2, maybe a deeper question. Do you know where your expectations and assumptions come from and why you have them? There's a reason that we want what we want. We think we'll get something or feel a certain way from having that thing. So, what is it that you're looking for or you think that you'll get if your expectations and assumptions are met? And number 3, is it even possible for the other person in the relationship to meet the expectations that you have and provide what you're looking for? If it isn't possible, is it really fair to continue to hold them? And further, if they are fair, does the goal line continually change, keeping the other person in a constant state of failure? You're allowed to want what you want in a relationship, physically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever it may be. That isn't entitlement. That's clarity. But the danger is expecting what you want without communicating it, assuming that the other person is on the same page, and then allowing unmet expectations to turn into resentment. At the end of the day, the only real antidote to projecting something onto a relationship and experiencing disappointment isn't lowering your expectations and assumptions. It's learning to share what they are. And this is lesson number 2, practice better communication. But not communication in the cliche sense, not just more talking, but more discovering. Communicating your expectations and assumptions and learning theirs. For today's video, let's call expectations and assumptions standards. Standards are not rules that you impose on others, but boundaries you hold for yourself. And we have to know how to communicate our standards and honor the standards of the other people that we're in relationships with. Healthy communication sounds like curiosity, not control. It sounds like, this is how I experience closeness. Could you help me to understand how you experience closeness? Here's what I value. What about you? This is important to me. How does that land with you? It's speaking in I rather than accusations. I value, I hope, and I need. This will help you to get on the same page in any type of relationship. If you share this and there isn't immediate change in behavior, either by the other person stepping up to honor your standards or by you by having objectively more realistic standards, then it's a toxic relationship and it's time to close the door. On the other hand, if you feel like the person that you're in a relationship with is consistently short, frustrated, angry, whatever it may be, this might be a signal that they have unmet expectations. And I'd encourage you to take the first step towards them and ask them those questions. Here's a great formula for a successful and healthy relationship. Vision plus openness equals adventure. Vision gives direction to the relationship. Openness gives the flexibility needed to understand each other's needs, wants, and desires. And an adventurous relationship is exciting, fun, and fulfilling. A healthy relationship should feel like holding a compass and navigating life's adventures together, agreeing on a direction and moving in that direction as one. And sometimes that adventure is easy, and sometimes the adventure is difficult. Even when you have good communication and a direction, sometimes a friend doesn't show up the way that you need, a partner can't meet you emotionally, and a family member isn't capable of the closeness that you'd hoped for. And yes, that hurts. But disappointment does not have to turn into bitterness and resentment. It can reveal something like, this matters to me. We're not aligned right now, and that hurt, but now I know. See, we must look at disappointment as data. Every meaningful relationship is co-authored. You bring a pen, they bring a pen, and you write something together. I can almost guarantee that it won't match your fantasy, but it might become something even more valuable. Because relationships thrive where two things meet: desire to build something meaningful and openness to let it become what it naturally becomes. Hold both, express both, invite the other person in, and let the story unfold without forcing the script.